M purchased a small lot in subdivision paying 200,000 down. In short, yun yung down payment niya, first cost tawag dito, and promising to pay 15,000 every 3 months for the next 10 years. So in short, this 15,000 would be his annuity. Okay? The seller figured interest at 12% compounded quarterly. R is our 12%, which is the nominal rate of interest. M would be 4, which is equal to the number of compounding days, number of compounding periods, and then yung 10 years would be our N. Now, what is the cash price of the lot? And then, if M missed the first 12 payments, so in short, kung meron tayong annuity, and then meron kang na-miss na first 12 payments, automatic magkakaroon agad tayo ng deferred annuity. What must he pay at the third payment? Siguro, if he wants to make sure that he is up to date. So, parang ganon. Pag nag-13th payment ka, so kailangan niyang ma-accommodate yung buong first to 12 payments na hindi niya nagawa yun, no? Now, after making 8 payments, M wished to discharge his... Ito iba-iba yung mga tanong na yun, so hindi pwede mag-carry over yung mga sagot natin. After making 8 payments, M wished to discharge his remaining indebtedness by a single payment at the time when the 9th regular payment was due. What must he pay in addition to the regular payment then due? Okay, so medyo tongue twister yun. Basta ang ibig sabihin lang dun sa letter C, gusto niya nang tapusin yung kanyang lahat ng payments dun sa 9th regular payment. Siyempre, yung kanyang 9th regular payment would be added to that certain discharge amount that he wants. Now, the last one would be, if M missed the first 10 payments, again, deferred na siya, what must he pay when the 11th payment is due to discharge his entire indebtedness? So, unlike dun sa B na gusto niya maging up-to-date by making the 13th payment just to compromise with the first 12 payments, yung ating D would be something like, kulang ka ng first 10 payments, pero dun sa 11th mo na, since bida-bida ka, is babayadan mo na lahat, pati yung first 10 payments mo na kulang, at saka yung remaining mo, no? So, you have to expect na malaki yung babayad natin kasi one time, big time na to, no? So, yun, ganun yung mga certain scenario natin, and we'll be tackling each of them. So we start with letter A. Letter A, we need to find the cash price in this case. So the cash price is, of course, if you add your down payment plus the present worth of the annuity that you're paying. So basically, this would be your cash price. And we don't have any problem with our down payment kasi it's given right here in the first paragraph. Pero how about this present worth? So given our annuity, so, for this problem, need pala natin muna na specify yung ating mga given. So, yung ating annuity is 15,000. Okay? And then yung down payment natin is 200,000. We also have this every 3 months. So, with this, we could say that M is equal to 4. Because this just means na you pay it quarterly. Kaya, for every 3 months, meron kang 4 payments. So, we proceed with N, which is equal to 10 years. Okay. And then we do have the same compounded period, which is quarterly then. And then, now for our nominal interest rate, we have 12%. Compounded also quarterly. Now, let's compute for our cash price. So the down payment is equal to 200,000, and then our P given our A, so we have plus 15,000 times 1 minus 1 plus 0.12 over 4, and then we raise this to 4 or negative 4 times how many years would be 10 years, so that's around negative 40. Then we divide this by the interest rate, which is 0.12 over 4. Okay, so with this, our cash price is equal to 546,721.5796. Okay, so this is your cash price. And kung mapapansin nyo, yung ating ginawang method dito is just computing for the present worth of the annuity na binabayad natin every 3 months and then adding yung down payment. Now, if you want to represent this in terms of a cash flow diagram, so gawa ka lang nung line, and then yung arrow natin for the down payment would be arrow down. Okay? And then, syempre, meron kang binabayad pa na annuity. So, syempre, there are arrow down pa na pababa. Okay? And then, you'll be doing this for 3 months. I mean, for 10 years, every 3 months. And then, what you have to do is to bring this back to the present. So, lahat ng payments mo. So that we can obtain yung present cash price niya. Okay? So, ganun yung nangyari dyan for our cash flow diagram. Now, let's proceed to the next one. So, B. I think hindi magkakasya yung B dito, so buburahin ko na lang. Just remember, yung ating cash price is 546,721. Siguro pwede natin siyang ilagay dito, no? Let's just write it here. That's 546,721.5796. Okay? And then we can proceed with the other computations. Okay. So for B, if M is missing the first 12 payments, so ito, need na natin magawa ng cash flow diagram dito para ma-visualize natin. Okay, so lagyan natin ngayon ng mga time intervals. So basically, kung kailangan mo ng each payment makita natin, so we'll be doing this for every 3 months. And by the way, as you can actually write na instead of using your 3 months, 6 months, you can actually use 0, 1, 2, 3 just to indicate yung period na nagbabayad ka. So, pwede itong 0, and then this one is 1. Okay? Let's make it 1, 2, 3. So, pwede yung ganyan, no? 4. And then, let's have na yung ating siguro 11, and then 12. Okay? Just to incorporate na first 12 payments is nagkulang. Masyado kasing marami pag ina natin to yun isa-isa. And then sabi dito, we need to have this 13th payment para maging up-to-date siya. So, 13 would be a very important part here as well as dun sa preceding pa na mga years. So, 14, 15, and then siguro we can have 16 and then extend siguro natin tong line. Okay? So, probably we can have 17 and then can have 40 dito. Kasi 'di ba, he has to pay 40 times kasi ano siya parang 4 times for 10 years. So parang 40 times talaga siya nang magbabayad. Okay? So ito yung parang time frame niya. Meron tayong mga time skips diyan. And then, dito, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, wala siya minayad hanggang 12. So, sa 13th payment siya nagkaroon. And basically, kung bayad siya sa 13th payment, so, around ganyan yan, no? And then, the rest, 14, 15, would be of the same arrow size na lang yan. So, remember, kaya natin to ginagawa yung mga arrow size just to indicate yung mga amounts of money na nilalagay natin. So, with that, mas madali sa ating ma-visualize kung ano yung mga pinabayad natin. Okay, just to give you an idea of how this will work. So imagine nyo, 'di ba? Parang dito supposedly meron tayong mga payments. So itong mga parang gagawin ko na broken arrow. So yung mga gagawin natin na nabura na dito. Arrows na lighter, gawin natin na medyo orange. So itong mga lighter arrows na to, ito yung payments na supposedly dapat binayaran mo pero hindi mo na gawin natin gray. Just to indicate na yun yung para mga supposed payments natin na dapat binayaran mo pero hindi mo binayaran. Okay? So that extends up until this 12. Okay, so hanggang 12 yan. And then, to give you an idea of how we can compute for the value of this particular F, so we'll just have this as F, no? Para mas simple, F. And then, ito yung mga payments natin na annual supposedly. So, for this case, we have, let's use another color. So, yung supposed payments mo lalagay, babalik natin siya doon. Dahil natin sa future. We have to amount all of this para consider natin kung ano ba yung value ng ating F. Wait lang. Okay? So, this will be easy if we just know the value of our A. And sabi nila, diba, 15,000. So, wala tayong problema for that. So, lagyan natin to parang 15,000 yung mga payments dito, no? Okay? So, 15,000, 15,000, so ganun. So, with this, we can now compute for F. So, F is equal to 15,000. So, ang easiest way na we can solve for this is, again, this method. So, 15,000 and then we multiply this with 1 plus 0.12 over 4 raised to ilan ba yung payments na supposedly dapat babayaran niya. So, di ba, 13? So, you don't have to do something like 4 times kung ilan mang years yun. Kasi, this is actually the number of payments. So, kung 30 na siya, di yun na yun. 30 na yung n mo dun. Okay? And then, minus 1, and then divided by 0.12 over 4. Now, this should give you an answer that is equal to 234 and 266.8567 pesos. So, ito yung money na expected natin na dapat ibayad niya sa 13th payment just to make sure na na-compensate na niya yung kanyang payment at the end of the year from period 1. Actually, not at the end of the year, but at the end of every 3 months. From period 1 to period 12. Siyempre, including na yung period 13 dyan. Now, there's another way to deal with this, no? What if naman, ang ginawa mo is, yung future mo, dinala mo lang siya, let's say, from 0 to 12. Hanggang dito lang nagawa mo, no? So, with that, this will become 12, diba? 12 minus 1. So, ganun lang mangyayari. And then, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng certain value dito na i-take mo siya in terms of simple interest. So, pwede yung ganun. Then, saka mo i-add ngayon yung pang number 13 na payment, which is actually 15,000. Ito, this is the easiest one. But if you want to make it harder for you, kasi nga, bida-bida ka, joke. Kasi nga, gusto mo na iba pang method. So, pwede yun. Kasi kung 13 payment siya, pwede ka naman mag-stop sa 12. So, by stopping at 12, you will be using your F given A, and then your I%, and then, of course, kung N would be 12, diba? This is for this one. Pero syempre, meron ka pang certain value dito na kailangang i-project so that we have the same reference point as the 13th month. So, 13th period. So, ang mangyayari dito, yung factor mo would be the simple interest rate. So, that is F given P, and then I%, and then yung N natin, which is iba naman yung value ng N. Okay, so with this, your F would be equal to, let's say, 15,000. So, same concept lang nito, no? We have 1 plus 0.12 over 4, and then raised to 12, kasi 12 lang yung ating stop, minus 1, and then 0.12 over 4. Now, remember, diba, this is supposedly your future payment for this case, and ito na yon yung F mo. Then, we still have to bring this to the 13th period. So, that is, we need to multiply this to the simple interest rate using compound factor. So, that is 1 plus. So, how many, ano ba yung rate natin for each year? So, that is 0.12 over 4. And then, we have only ilang period kaya yun. So, assuming na meron lang tayong isang period dito kasi 12, 13 lang to. So, basically, 1 lang yung ating N dito. Kasi we're considering yung ating interest period per quarter. So, parang ganun yan. Okay? Kasi kung halimbawa, 1 year to, di, 4. Pero since lang siya, as in isang period lang siya, so hindi mo na siya kailangan i-multiply sa 4. And then, of course, you add the last one, which is your 15,000, which is the actual payment na supposedly dapat bayad siya dun sa 13th. So, ganun lang ginawa natin. Kung natin yung 12, dinala natin siya to 13, and then you add the last payment, which is the 13. And then, of course, if you try to compute for this, you'll be able to get an F that is similar to this one, 234 266.8567. Okay? So, knowing these two methods, actually, mas madali talaga yung una kasi syempre, this is a direct method for this case, no? Sometimes, this second version, we do this naman for some complicated problems. Pero, for cases like this, kung kailangan mo lang namang hanapin yung compensated amount na kailangan bayaran for a deferred annuity, you can just use that formula yung nauna natin. Pero, I believe na I have given you a certain equation for deferred annuity. And in that equation, gagamitin mo supposedly is yung F natin, kung babalikan yun, equation number 18. So, supposedly gagamitin mo siya for that equation. Pero, it doesn't matter anyway naman nga kasi alam natin na yung N doon, yung N is the number of periods kung saan supposedly nag-end yung ating payment. And with that, makikita natin na J. So, yung J is supposedly dun siya nag-end, no? Pero, yun nga, dito kasi, pwede namang hindi mo na siya sundan kasi yung F natin is just the sum of all the necessary payments na hindi nabayaran. So, parang ganon. Okay, pero if you want to use the deferred annuity, you use your F and then just make sure na yung N mo is equal to 12 and then yung N minus J would be something like 13 minus 12. So, yun yung mangyayari dyan. Now, let's write the answer dito siguro sa part na to, no? 234,266.8567. Okay, and probably we can proceed to letter C. Okay, now after making 8 payments, M wished to discharge his remaining indebtedness by a single payment at the time when the ninth regular payment was due. What must he pay in addition to the regular payment then due? So, we still have to create our cash flow diagram kasi we need to visualize this, no? So, sabi dito, nagkaroon tayo ng 8 payments. In short, nagbayad siya. Hindi siya yung nagkaroon ng estafa dito na basta na lang hindi nagbayad. So, we can do 8 payments here para makita natin 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Siyempre, pantay-pantay na. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Medyo lumabis ako. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so meron tayong 8 payments. And then, we should discharge his remaining indebtedness by a single payment at the time when the ninth regular payment was due. In short, sa ninth payment, bayad na siya. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. So, ang tanong dito is, what must he pay in addition to the regular payment then due? So, in short, sa ninth payment, bayad na siya. So, supposedly kasi dapat meron ditong mga payments pa, di ba? Ito yung mga supposed payments natin, kulay gray. Okay? Pero syempre, these payments, hindi na yan kasama kasi we have to incorporate na yun dun sa ating dito sa ninth payment na may arrow na mahaba. So, what could be that value, no, from this? So, siguro lagyan na lang natin ng ganito. And just to incorporate or signify na ito yung ating mga payments na supposedly is dapat pambayaran. Pero hindi na nga binayaran kasi minadali na nung at ni M. Okay, so wait lang. Okay, so yan yung atin. Nag-time skip ulit ako dyan. So we start with the 0 period, then 1, 2, 3. So, alam naman natin na 15,000 yung binabayad natin dito. Okay, and this is the ninth payment. This is the 8. So, 7, 6, 5, 4. And this is the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And this one would be the 40th payment. Okay, so if your question is, what could be this ninth payment so that bayad na yung ating utang? So, what could probably be our approach, no? And then, yung isa pang tanong, kasi dalawa yan eh. So, actually, isa lang pala yung tanong. Ano ba yung payment mo dapat sa 9 na kailangan mong idagdag, assuming na alam mo na yung isang regular payment na 15,000 dun sa sa 9th payment na yan. So, ano kaya pwede natin gawin dito just to determine yung ating 9th payment? Now, we can analyze this by drawing our reference arrow again. I'll be using another color just to signify things out here. Okay, so yan. Ngayon, if I try to bring all of these payments to this ninth payment, so alam ko na the sum of all these payments taken from 1 to 8 payment to 9 would be yung ating kabuang na bayaran on the 8th and 9th payment. Kasama natin yung 9th, no? And then, what if I try to bring all of this back to this 9th payment? So, I know quite well na yung magiging value dito from the 40th to the 10th would be yung ating mga kulang pa na dapat bayaran. Kasi if I have to take this to 9th, then yun yung mga supposedly dapat babayaran mo pa in the future kasi nasa 9th tayo ngayon na reference. So with this, if I try to subtract yung ating difference between these two values, then I can therefore say na ito yung ating magiging bayad sa ating 9th payment. Okay? So that would be our approach for this problem. And let's try solving for that. So, unahin natin is yung, siguro gawin natin dito is, let's say this would be your value, let's say P prime. Okay? This is the P prime now. Kasi, kaya siya naging P dahil ito, present siya nitong factor. Pero kung titiyan mo naman dito sa portion na to, F naman siya kasi siya yung nasa future. So, since, para hindi tayo malito, ibahin natin ng letter. Gawin natin, ano siya, gawin natin M, ganon, M. So, yung M, para hindi tayo malito kung siya ay F or P. Kasi it can take other form, depende kung ano yung reference natin. So, gawin natin M. Okay. So, if it's M, and then we have to incorporate all the payments that you've done from first to the 9th payment, then the value of your M, additional payment. So, ito na yung additional payment natin. So, ito yung hinahanap natin, M. Okay? And then, siguro yung isang time frame, lagyan natin dito ng isa pang arrow. Yung time frame na ginawa natin, not the time frame, but yung, and then siguro yung ating equivalent value is gawin nating mga ganito, no? P prime for this, F prime for this one. And then, let's do something like P prime for the other one. So, parang ganyan na lang gawin natin, no? F prime for this and then P prime for the other one. So, kung F prime ang hahanapin natin, we take this all annuity values. So, we have 15,000, okay, times 1 plus 0.12 over 4, and then how many payments ba yung ginawa natin? So, diba meron natin 9 payments? Minus 1 divided by 0.12 over 4. Now, remember, dito sa procedure na to, we have incorporated yung payment natin kasama yung ating 9th. So, parang nagbayad na rin tayo dyan ng 15,000. So, kasama yun doon. So, the value would be equal to 152,386.5919. Okay, now how about our P prime? So, our P prime would be equal to, now remember, yung ating additional payment again would be something like P prime, okay, minus F. Okay, so ito pa yung kailangan nating bayaran na additional payment. Now, how about this P prime? So, yung P prime, pwede nating ma-visualize by taking all of the payments from 0 or from 1 to 40. So, pag ginawa natin yun, makukuha natin yung future value ng ating pinaka-future value ng ating payments or annuity. So, if we do that, that is 15,000 times 1 plus 0.12 over 4 raised to 40 minus 1 over 0.12 over 4. So, ibig sabihin itong portion na to. Now, this portion means na yung lahat ng annuities, dinala ko siya sa future so that I can have a single payment right here. So, yun ibig sabihin nun. And then, yung single payment na yun, I will try to bring that back to the 9th payment para maging ito na yung aking line na to. So, yun yung reason kung ba't naging ganun, kung bakit siya 40. So, that means I have 1 plus 0.12 over 4. And how many payments do I have to get to this 9th payment? So, that is, of course, negative 40. And then, that is, negative of 40 minus 9. Okay? So, basically, meron akong negative 31 payments pabalik doon sa akin just to get to this point of reference na time natin. And with this, we will be able to obtain a value of our P prime that is equal to 452,000 and 393.0193. Okay, and then M would be the difference between P prime and then F prime, so that is equal to 300,006.4274. Okay, so that is our answer for the remaining indebtedness na kailangan para bayaran mo yon, which is an additional payment from 15,000 na babayad mo pa sa 9th payment. So, hopefully ay nag-gets nyo yung concept for that, no? Siguro, medyo nalito kayo dun kasi ginawa natin is future yung ating reference then pinabalik natin. So, another way to view this is that we have to determine kung ano yung ating present worth nito. And by that, di ba alam natin, na-compute na siya natin kanina. Pag sinubtrakan natin ng 200,000 to, di ba 346,721 yung kanyang present worth. So, pwede natin gamitin yon. Di ba yung present worth natin before is 346,721.5796. Again, it is obtained from using your concept of annuities and then making it bring all of this to your present. So, yun yung ating P. Now, kung yung P naman, di ba, yung P natin is nandito na yan sa 0. So, nandito na yung P natin, no? So, if I try to bring this to the future, which is ninth payment, I can determine kung ano ba yung dapat na amount natin na supposedly indebtedness mo sa ninth payment. So, with that, we can multiply this to determine our P prime. You can also do something like multiply this with the compound annuity natin, compound interest natin, which is 1 plus 0.12 over 4. Now, instead of using this negative 40 minus 9, you just use your 9 payments just to make this equal to your supposedly P prime. So this should give you the same value, which is 452,393.0193. So this is another method of viewing that. So hopefully nag-guess yung pabalik-balik na arrow na yun. Basta ano lang yan. Lahat ng pera, kailangan mo siyang dalhin dun sa same reference. Now, for this case, because ninth payment yung kailangan natin, mahanap yung indebtedness, so dapat yung reference natin is ninth. Or you could just use the present and then move forward ka para makuha mo yung ninth payment. So, either way naman would just give you the same result, no? Now, another easy way, and I think this is the easiest way to solve for this problem, is to take yung payments mo from 40 to the ninth payment. So, babalik tayo, and then using annuity, we can determine the exact value ng 300,000 from the equation na using ating present worth factor. So, pwede yun yung ating isang solution in this case. So, I think this one is, para mas madali siyang magets, pero since ito ay nagamit ko, so ito na lang yung, binox ko, no? Ito lang naman is the same. Yung concept dito again is that I took the future worth so that I can go back to the ninth payment. For this case naman, I used the present worth so that I can move forward para sa ninth payment. And then, the same concept lang, yung difference lang nun would be the indebtedness that you still have to pay. Okay? So again, yung in addition to the due of the ninth payment, remember, itong in addition, ibig sabihin nun, yung 15,000 is assuming na bayad ko na siya. Okay, so parang 1 to 9 talaga yung nabayaran ko. So, yung 300,000 na yun is idadagdag ko pa yan dun sa nabayaran ko na from 1st to 9th payment, which is actually 15,000 times 9. Okay? So, hopefully, yun ay nag-make sense na for this problem. Now, we can write the answer. I think that is 300,000 006.4274. Okay, and I think we're done with the last problem. Oops. Okay, so for the last one, we have if M missed the first 10 payments, so meron naman siyang deferred annuity. Okay, and then what must he pay when the 11th payment is due to discharge his entire indebtedness? So kaibahan again ito sa C is that gusto niya na magkaroon ng one-time big-time payment sa 11th payment pero na-defer niya yung first 10. So, you can have 0 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and then dito sa pang 11, meron siyang one-time big-time na payment dito. Okay, so you can just have this 11 and then you can have this 12, 13 going to the 40th payment. Okay? So, ganun supposedly. And then, alam naman natin na if you want to bring all of this, we have to make sure na we incorporate yung ating mga supposed payments natin. You can do this using a broken line, no? Pero since wala ditong direct broken line, I'll just use the gray one to indicate yung ating mga supposed payments na dapat binayaran mo. By the way, this one, since alam naman natin na hindi siya nagbayad for these payments, magiging deferred annuity na to, diba? And then for this one is hindi naman sila deferred kasi hindi naman sila hindi na siya binayaran eh. So wala tayong tawag dun sa ganun. Now, we can do something like bringing this to the 11th payment as well as this one. Okay? So yun yung idea dyan. Okay? Now, what happens with this? So, for this problem, our idea is to add yung mga na-defer niya from 0 to 10th payment and then ibalik natin itong mga supposedly babayaran niya pa to the 11th payment. So let's call this yung na-defer niya as F prime and then yung ibabalik natin payment would be our P prime. Okay? So with this, if we need to find F prime, knowing that this is our annuity, and then we have to stop at the 11th payment, so that is 15,000 times 1 plus 0.12 over 4 raised to 11, kasi dun siya magbabayad dun sa last, and then minus 1 divided by 0.12 over 4. Okay? Now, for this, the value is equal to 192,116.9354. Okay? And then we can proceed in finding our P prime. So P prime would be the annuities going backwards. So that is your 15,000 times 1 minus 1 plus 0.12 over 4, and then divided by 0.12 over 4. Now this is raised to negative how many periods ba yun? So that is 40 minus 11. So ganun lang naman siya, no? Kung saan ka mag-stop, subtract mo lang yun dun sa original n. That is the n minus j dun sa deferred annuity natin. So P prime is equal to 287,826.8188. Now, let's say yung indebtedness natin na kailangan bayaran is D. So we have to add this F prime and P prime. So therefore, D is equal to, yung mga letters na to, ako lang yung nagde-designate nila para ma-realize nyo yung mga answers. So, kasi pagka yung nag-relay tayo sa F and P lang, nakakalito masyado sila. So, let's just use yung mga ibang letters naman. So, if you add these two, you will be able to get 479,943.7542. Okay, so this is your answer for this problem. So in short, yung kanyang babayaran kung na-miss niya yung first 10 payments would be 479,943. Okay, now there is another way that we can view this again. Meron na naman, no? And the easiest way that we can view this is, remember niyo yung P natin, di ba yung ating P is equal to, again, subtract natin ang down payment, so that is 346,721.5796. Again, this is your utang, your annuities na binabayaran mo at the present. So again, ulitin ko, ito yung pag binalik natin lahat ng annuities na binayad natin into present, ito yun, 346,000. So basically, as we move forward dun sa time frame natin, this 346,000 is increasing. Now, what could happen if dun sa 11th payment natin siya babayaran? So ano sa tingin yung gagawin natin sa 346,000 na to? Diba, kung ito is ating pinaka-utang mo yan, actually kung utang, nasa taas na yan. So kung pinaka-utang mo yan, and then you want to pay that on the 11th period, diba, you just have to take this dun sa 11th period na yan. And by doing that, since siya ay single payment, single value lang siya, so what you have to do here is to be able to find D, you just have to multiply this to the yun sa ating factor natin for compound interest, that is 1 plus 0.12 over 4. Kagaya ng ginawa ko kanina, no, nag-check din ako. So, with this, you just raise this to 11, and that should give you the same answer as this 479,943.7542. Okay, so, I think yung approach na yun is mas nag-gets yun, kasi mas, mas basic talaga yung idea, no? Pero, ang kaibahan kasi nun, what if you're just given by letter D, wala yung A, B, C? So therefore, you still have to compute for the whole annuity from the 40 period, just to understand yung basic price mo nung iyong utang. Pero that can be very helpful when you've already obtained yung value ng inyong present worth. And again, I'm not really, hindi ako strict sa mga methods na ginagawa nyo. Kahit yung araw nyo is magbabalik-balik pa yan, kahit yung araw nyo is lahat naka-future kayo, okay lang yan, basta as long as you produce the same result. Kasi depende sa perspective mo. Sa akin kasi, pag gantong problem, nauna yung idea na mas madali siyang i-add. Pero basically, kung ito, mas madali rin siya. Mas madali pala siya. So there are a lot of ways on how you visualize this problem. Kasi nagkataon lang na ito yung unang pumasok sa isip ko in that manner. Pero you can always try to use one. Actually, you can also use deferred annuity for this, no? Kasi di ba deferred annuity to? So, if you try to compute, try mong try natin na i-take itong buong to as yung dalhin natin sa future yung ating single value. For example, di ba ito present? So, gawin natin ngayon future, no? So, pag gawin natin itong future, so instead of having it at the present, yung value na P, you can have this at the future. Pwede ganyan. So, kung gusto mong malaman yung 11th payment mo, I mean yung value ng 11th payment just to discharge all the entire indebtedness, you can have this future and then just project that to the 11th payment and you should be able to get the same result. So that would be something like finding your F. So you use this formula, just use 40 here and then you multiply this with 1 plus 0.12 or 4 raised to negative 40 minus 11, ganun. So with that, you'll be able to obtain the same result as this. So there are a lot of ways. Ano? And remember, I'm not restricting you to any kind of solutions like this. Basta, just make sure na you will produce the same result and show it using a cash flow diagram. Na siguro sa problem solving, I will mark it wrong kung halimbawa, kita ko yung cash flow diagram is ganyan and then you just use this kind of method. So, kung gusto mong gawin yung ganong method, yung nauna na yan, ang cash flow diagram mo should be something like this, no? You start with 40 and then you bring all this back to the present and then you present na yun, pa-project mo siya dito sa 11th payment. So, yung cash flow mo, supposedly more on ganyan dapat yung drawing. Pero, or if you use the future, so that is future and then, I mean, so, kunin mo lahat ng mga annuities, you bring it to the future and then you have to go back to this 11th payment. So, pwede yung ganon. Pero kung ganito yung method mo and then ganito solution mo, so medyo, medyo naka-questionable yung ganong style. Anyway, so that's all for number 15 and let's proceed to the next problem for this topic.